rising is moving, and the power you misused will soon be your undoing.
Hello everyone. All right, and we're good, I think. Yeah, there we go. Hey guys, welcome to another Decentralist. Again, hit me up in the chat, make sure you can hear me okay, everything's working fine, the music volume's great. I'm looking for you engineers today. So while you're doing that, while you're saying hi, my connection thing still isn't working. So I'm going to try and fix it in the next 5 minutes. And if I can't, then I actually think it's not the PC, because like this dongle thing. So I reckon this dongle is just playing up. I mean, that's what I'm thinking it might be. It might be just, you know, a bit dodgy. I've got an adapter in here somewhere. I'm going to try something. I've got like a USB to USB. What would that do? I'm not seeing anyone in the chat. Hey, Tony. No, that's not going to help. Oh man, if I can't get this working, then I'll have to just either, hey Marcus, hey Jew, if I can't get this working, then yeah, I can't do trading view and stuff. Hello, NetBroker. Something. Hey guys, I've got a feeling tonight's show is going to be a massive flop. But it's this annoying thing where when I first started this stream it was working perfectly, and it's the fact that it stopped working feels like it must be a hardware thing. And because I've got this sort of this like dodgy dongle thing, I'm thinking it must be this thing, you know? I'm still blaming you guys though, because you guys are the engineers. Market says it's either that dongle or the box it's attached to. Well, this is the external video card, or no, what do they call it? It's the thing. It's the magic box that makes it work. The Elgato HD X, and this thing was working. The HD 60X. I'll put it on the screen so you can see. Like, this is literally what I'm looking at right now. Right, do you guys think that this is going to work? Oops. What do you guys reckon? Actually, let's do this one. No, not that one. Right. Look at me with my sound effects. Marcus says, turn it all off and on again, worked the other day. Is that what fixed it? Karen says yes. Are you sure? Because I've got phone a friend sound effects. You know, so we can do that if you want. Is it your final answer, Kaz? Marcus as well. Is it your final answer? Are you sure? All right, let's see. Nope. So it won't hurt a lot. But the thing is though, I was having this problem the last two streams, and I turned the computer on, right, in order to you know, start the stream, and it worked for a second, it didn't work. You know, maybe it's the Mac. I'm gonna restart the Mac because that's the only thing I've like been using it all day, and it hasn't I haven't actually you know, restarted the Mac. So let's give that a go. I'll shut it down. $50-50. Was that a millionaire thing where you can 50-50. I haven't got the sound effect for that. Isn't this the best live stream you've ever seen in your whole life? Let's unplug this. You know, or it could be this HDMI cable. Oh, I got a spare. No, I don't think I do. I haven't got a spare one. Okay, I do. There's a brand new HDMI cable here. Marcus says, is Elgato pulled into mini PC? It's going into the mini PC. Yeah, this thing we're doing right now is inside the mini PC, and so the Elgato is connected to the. So that's fine. Marcus says it needs to be all off and on again. Tony, phone a friend. Marcus, is Elgato pulled into mini PC? Kaz, there's a new one now where you can ask the presenter to answer the question. Really? Huh. Marcus, it could be PC2. Yeah, it could be again, but it was working before. I didn't change anything. I haven't done anything. So why would, you know, if you don't change the thing, why does the result change, you know? But I've got a brand new unused HDMI cable here, so maybe that'll make a difference. Okay, let's turn on the PC, the Mac even. Okay. Could be PC all off. Yeah, but it was off all day. Do you know what I mean? It's not like a one-off thing where... I mean, I will do that if nothing else works, but I want to leave that to the last minute, last resort, because that means restarting the stream, which is annoying. Okay, so... let's try again. So you were all wrong last time. You all said you thought it was going to work. So what do you guys reckon now? Kaz says, like the video anyway, guys. Yeah, if you're on YouTube, hit like. In. Marcus says, I have one. They are funny things, the mini PCs, yeah. And this is like one of the pretty much the cheapest one I could find that at least had like resemblance of performance. Which in hindsight was a mistake. I should have got one that was a little bit beefier. But again, it was working before, and this, like, where before it worked for like an hour and a half and stopped working, I thought, okay, maybe it's overheating or something. Now it's just not working at all immediately, and so I'm thinking, well, what's changed? The PC hasn't changed. It was working before, now it's not, and so I'm thinking it must be a hardware thing. The wire, this dongle. I've read on the internet that dongles can be funny. So, what do you guys think? Is it going to work or not work? I've changed the HDMI cable, I've restarted my Mac. Marcus says no. with Marcus. I think you're right, Marcus. Maybe if I do this, hang on. I know you're thinking this is the best stream ever. Oh man. So what I'm gonna have to do tomorrow is go to the local, like, you know, computer shop, PC shop, whatever, and get not a dongle but just a simple adapter, HDMI to USB-C, and hope that fixes the problem. It's annoying. Gas says you've probably already checked out the Elgato troubleshooting guide, right? Yeah, because when it first started, when I first got this, it wasn't working. I was trying all kinds of different things and it wasn't working. And then I literally did this. I unplugged it and plugged it back in, and then it worked. And so all of that leads me to think it might be, look, if I like fiddle with the adapter, like if I bend the wire or something, if I like sort of manipulate the dongle, if it turns on, then I think 100% it's the dongle. But the weird thing is, like, when I plug this into the Mac, you know, when you plug in an external display to well, maybe you know this, maybe you don't, but into a Mac, the screen resolution, like, it changes. It recognizes that there's a display being plugged in or something like that. And so if I just plug the dongle in, that doesn't happen. Nothing changes. It recognizes that there's an HDMI device being connected. And so in that case, it can't be the dongle. Man. Hang on a second. Wait, what? What the fuck? It's working. I didn't do anything. How long has that been like that for? Well, I mean, I did something. I was like, I went into the display settings. What? This makes no sense. What did I do? I didn't do anything. I didn't change anything. What? This makes no sense. I placed the Elgato there. So I'm moving the Elgato now. If it cuts out, then it must be hardware, right? I'm just moving the Elgato. What did I do? Maybe it's something, okay, maybe it's something inside these display settings that had to kind of like reset or something. So if I close that. All right, look, let's jump in because we don't know how long this is going to be working for. Came on as soon as you went into settings. Huh. Okay, right. It must be something like when I went into the settings, it must have like remembered. Oh, right, yeah, Elgato. Let's make it work. There we go. Yeah, Kaz just says leave it alone. Yeah, fuck you, I'm not touching it. All right, well, look, so let me just check everything else is working. That's working, that's working. All right, cool. All right, well, okay, so... Oh, my God. So, let's jump in. Let me just write a quick message to... to the network, just letting everyone know that I'm live, even though I've been live for 30 minutes, although technically this is not really, they haven't missed out on much, let's be honest. Hey everyone, I'm live again. Head over to you. How's the music volume? All right, that's everyone messaged. Sweet. Okay, so if that's what it was, if we've like, I mean, it wasn't me. You guys discovered it. You're the engineers. If that's it, sweet. Because there's nothing wrong. Like, if it wasn't working, but I knew why, it's like, oh, this thing, that's why it's going wrong, you know? Then it's like, okay, I know what the issue is. But when you don't know, it's just like a ghost. It's so frustrating. All right. So, looky what we've got, right? You remember I said if this breaks down below this this C wave, then it's then this isn't a triangle correction, right? Because if I get rid of the things, right, it's lost that contracting structure, and so now we have two options open to us, right? We're still again, you've all got different trading styles to me, maybe, but if you're a swing trader, and look, just the fact that this is the 30 minutes, right? And this is obviously taking days to unfold. These patterns are fractal, and so you might see a pattern like this, like much closer in the 5-minute bars, the 1-minute bars, etc. So the fact that we're having to wait for this pattern to unfold is just the nature of the the time frame that we're paying attention to. But triangle corrections and double combos and all that stuff, they appear on all degrees. So what does that mean? Okay, it means that either this isn't a triangle correction, which is what it's looking like, or it is a triangle correction and and I don't think this is the case, but it means that if it was a triangle correction, then it would mean that this is the A and the B is up here, and this is the C, and then we've got the D and the E to come. So I'm just saying there is a chance that this is still a triangle. This is corrective, this is correct, this is obviously all corrective, that's corrective. So the way that we would see if that's the way it goes is that, well, before we get there, I'll come back to what I think is kind of more likely in terms of probability, and that is that we've just got a WXY, right? Just a WXY. So W, X, and Y. I haven't placed that exactly, but what degree is that? That's sub-minuet. Is this volume too loud? Because in my headphones, it sounds a little bit loud, but let me guys know. You're the, Kaz, you're the sound engineer, right? Sub-minuet. And micro, okay. W, X, and Y, or W, X. There could be an X there, and then a Y, W, X. Kaz says it's all good. All right, cool. So if anyone else isn't happy with the music volume, address Kaz. GIF Jenna says a flat correction. Yeah, but then a flat correction, we'd be expecting an impulse down. I remember before where we thought, oh, this is an A, a B, and then this would be our impulse down, our C wave. So if we've got a B here, it's like, okay, but is this impulsive? And it doesn't look impulsive to me. Look at that, it's just all overlapping, it's all corrective, it's all channeling, you know? So I'm not seeing that. Yeah, I just think this is either a WXY, but again, let's still step back. GF Jenner says ending with an ending diagonal in the C. Oh, I see what you're saying. Let's have a look at that. Let's explore. I mean, interesting idea. It's not a bad idea, actually. It's not a bad idea. Well spotted, GIF Jenner. Interesting. Although, if that's what we're looking for, it's weird though, man. To get an ending diagonal in the C of a flat, I mean, yeah, it could happen, but it's not really common. I mean, look, either way, if it's a WXY or it's an ABC with a flat correction, we would still be looking for the exact same movement to follow from this, right? Both of those ideas would have this as the fourth wave about to complete, right? The fourth wave in the what's that, sub-minuet? Yeah, the sub-minuet degree, like down here. So, you know, we can keep both those possibilities open. Kaz says, I thought that too, but it didn't feel right. Yeah. I'm trying to think, have I ever seen an ending diagonal in the C wave of a flat correction? And either I haven't or I just can't remember it. I mean, but what is interesting is that with a C wave of a flat correction, we would expect it to come down further than here, right? This is the higher low. So I'll do this as number 2, higher low right there. Okay. And so in that case, we would expect it to come down even more below this. But yeah, I'm not really. Kaz says, if so, would it not be too close to A? What do you mean too close to A? Because in a flat correction, you would have A, B, and the C would come like down here, you know. And I can show you like exactly using the trend based fib. AB flat extension. Oh, it's there already there. Look, so that means we'd be expecting it to get to at least there, right? I mean, I can't see it. I can't see it. Jeff says, how about a triangle in the B wave and completing the C wave? How about a triangle in the B wave and completing the C wave? A triangle in the B wave. Do you mean, is this an A and this is a triangle B wave? I mean, no. Just no. And it still wouldn't change the issue. And this isn't the triangle. This is a W, X, and Y, I believe. W, X, Y. Or it's a W. Either way, this is a correction here, and this feels corrective all the way down as well. I mean, it'll be a push to even like an ending diagonal in the C position of a C wave of a flat correction. Even then, we're not really seeing like a really nice, ending diagonal kind of shape. It's just kind of, yeah. It's not. I mean, look. It's all about probabilities, and I'm just not really. I'm not seeing that. So I'm not going to lead with that with our assumption. So, I mean, you remember I always say, if you don't know what's going on, you're probably in a complex correction. Yeah. So let's get rid of this. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of it. But isn't it cool that like the reason why I kept this pitchfork on from yesterday is that price seemed to be responding to this geometry, right? Came up and pinged the median line. We got a beautiful entry here. Really the second one is the perfect entry, median line, and then we kind of hugged it, finding support on the first warning line, finding some little bit of support on the second warning line, and it's kind of found some support on the third warning line. So this geometry I'm keeping up on screen. Karen says complex correction then. Yeah, I think that's like the thing we're going to just revert back to, the complex correction. And what I might do here is see if we can discover some new bearish geometry. See if we can get some help. Because remember, with the Andrews median lines, price has a 80% chance of reaching the median line, and if it doesn't, assuming that your pitchforks, the P1, P2, P3 is placed correctly, obviously. We don't need the... So it's definitely following this geometry, this direction. But the question is it going to come down? Is it going to reach this median line? Well, I'm going to keep that pitchfork there. Let's see if we get anything else. No, that's not going to help. No. Let's see if a reverse pitchfork helps us. Or an inside pitchfork it's called. And this is where you create a phantom P1. I mean, you know, is that because this is in the, what was it, module 20 where I talk about hidden geometry. I mean, we've hit this this second warning line here. So what we want to look out for, if we're looking for signs of a change of trend, we want to look for a break of market structure. But the thing is, we've broken this market structure here. So we're getting a lower low, right? So up to this point, we had, you know, lower high, lower low, higher high, and then now a lower low, right? So there's no clear indicator in the micro, like in the immediate, where it wants to go. Now in the macro, according to our wave count, that this is a fourth wave correction, and there's nothing that has happened that has ruled that out. Vive says, as I see it, the current channel down is wave C of wave 2 of wave 5. Oh God. Like, I'm lost already. Wave C of 2 of 5 of 5 of C. What? It's best to show a chart, like to link to a chart we can look at. Kaz says, the beginning of this tune reminds me of Cristobal Tapia's Renaissance. I don't know that, but this is just like a synthwave playlist that is on this app that Twitch made, and it's all like royalty free music, so I haven't got to worry about copyright and stuff. But I can tell you what it is if you want. I can go to see what the actual track is. As I see it, the current channel down is wave C of 2 of 5. Yeah, I'm lost already. And I'm meant to be a master at this. I'm lost. Like translating the text into the visual thing, I can't do it. You know? It must be, so if I find that, it's more that, because that's fine if you have a visual to go with it, and then you can go, you know, it's drawn, it's like 1, 2, 3, whatever. But if it's just the text, it's like, Vibe says I can share it tomorrow on King Silver. I mean, share it now if you want. I mean, you can either post it in the chat, or you can post it in the network, or whatever you want, and we can load it up. But anyway, regardless of exactly how we're going to break this down, it's best to step back first, right, and sort of lead with our favorite, most probable wave count, and then lead from there, right? So rather than trying to guess or break down what this is, let's just step back and go, well, what is this of? What is this? What's the larger market structure? The larger structure at play. This is just a reverse median line that I've just created, and you know, a reverse median line, if you just draw like that, and then you reverse this back. Right, it's a reverse median line. It's a way of finding hidden geometry, and I'm not saying this is what we're seeing, but when we angle it like this, price has reached the median line and then reached the median line a second time, exactly where we we meet the this warning line. So I'm going to keep this here just to kind of, just to leave it there, just see if we have discovered some hidden geometry or not. What I'd want to see really is a break of this market structure here. That would be the first sign that, okay, maybe this is the end of the Y. So if I go to what was this? I've forgotten what this is now. Oh, this was the retrace. So this as a retrace, that means this is already retraced pretty deep, and this is meant to be a wave 4. If it stops there, then look, that's exactly at 50%. That's another area of confluence. I like that. That means this would be a 50% retrace. Vibe says the last 2 days channel down. I'm on my couch. I don't know what you mean by the last 2 days channel down. I'm on my couch. Cool, all good. All good. So we've got some confluence here with the the third warning line, 1, 2, 3 of this geometry here, this modified shift. And let's see if we've got anything with just the shift. So we'll just make sure we've got nothing. No, that's not giving us anything. Oops. And we've got the 50% retrace, which is interesting. But again, unless we get some confirmation with the change in market structure, we've got lower lows, higher lows, lower lows, higher lows, all the way down. And so nothing's changed. We haven't got any, we haven't got a lot of separation here, like these like rejection wicks. Like see this like separation, like a big long wick. Right, we haven't got that at all. So I mean, it still feels like a nice fourth wave correction with, whatever happens. Yeah, I can't see it as anything else in the macro. Oh yeah, my trading view crashed, so I lost all my other screens. So I think my other one was on wave counting. No, that's this one. So I think, yeah, okay, so no, the other one was on wave counters 2. That's 2. And it was on not Binance, it was on Bitstamp. And we want the daily. Okay. I mean, look, in the macro, we're expecting like a drawn out sideways thing. So oh yeah, but the way we've got this is that we've still got, according to the microwave, like the analysis I've got here, we're still expecting this this push up here, right? But in the macro, obviously these need to be moved over, I suppose. Well, I tell you what, in terms of wave counts being validated, if the price comes down below the 0.618 here, right, which means a fourth wave retrace of that much, it's so rare that a fourth wave will go down that low. And so it's only going to come down a bit further, down to here, and then what I'm then going to think is that this is not a fourth wave correction. And it would then point to the idea that this third wave completed, and we're just looking at this kind of the fourth wave correction, you know, sideways, which according to this, if this is sharp, then we were expecting something a bit more drawn out, and so something that would last for, you know, a few weeks. So let me see how that could work. All right, I've got an idea. I've got an idea. Okay, I've got an idea. I've said that 3 times now. I mean, something that's troubling me is this feels like a really big fourth wave, like a very thick fourth wave. It just kind of feels out of place. We're not getting like a strong move up. Like a rejection, which implies that we've got more downwards to come, and that's going to be like 50% is as deep as you really would expect to go for a fifth wave, especially something as bulky as this. Okay. Here's my idea. I'm going to get rid of this. Here's my idea. I'm going to say that another 3 times. Let's choose the right line. Let's choose something positive, like green. Okay. Are you ready for my idea? my idea, it's just an idea, is this. I'm noticing some geometry there. Boom, 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 boom. See that? How that connects and then breaks through and then breaks through. So it's like support, breaks through, resistance, resistance. That tells me that, remember in module 20 I talked about finding hidden geometry that might have meaning, might have purpose. And let's just make this actually really exact. Oops. So that's not quite right about there. That's about right. So again, just playing with ideas, playing around, right? What if is the suspense killing you? So what if, because look, this, remember I saw this and I thought this just looks weird, man. Like, in fact, look, if we go back to this is the low point right here, right? This is where the market geometry, this is P1 of the market geometry, but this here is corrective. It's corrective. And so I jammed in, oh, well, okay, this is part of the correction back here, W, X, Y, and we'll start here, right? It's kind of jammed in there. What if that is the starting point? Which means that this is a correction upwards. So what if this is the beginning and this is the first wave, and this is the second wave, and this is the third wave, and this is the fourth wave, and this is the fifth wave. What is that? If that is what we're seeing, oh, and this would be a flat correction, which brings this back to being an impulse. Remember, I was like, it looks like an impulse. That would be like an expanded flat correction, and also at the same time a stop loss hunt, a stop loss hunt, like bang and then straight back down, but a flat correction, an expanding flat correction, correction up, correction down, correction up, correction down, correction up in this ascending triangle pattern. What would that be? And that would then complete the third wave, like we've got here. What would that be? What's that called? Correct, Master A, ending diagonal. So what if that's what we're seeing? What if this whole structure is an ending diagonal structure? So, you know, we did correctly identify a triangle, but what if what we were seeing was not the corrective triangle of a fourth wave, but an ending diagonal? It would make, I'll tell you why it would make more sense, because it would explain why this start is all fucked up and corrective. it would explain this geometry along the top here that the price is responding to. It would also explain this price over here, because anytime you exit out of a pattern, you're very likely going to get a retest of the underside or of the top of that pattern, right? Support becomes resistance, resistance becomes support, and you tend to retest it. So we've got this beautiful test, breakthrough, test, and then breakdown. And this is a corrective. And also, if you think about this as this is being the let me just make this nice and thick like that. And so if we look at this as, I should have chosen a different color actually. Yeah, I'll choose green. It looks more like what you would expect to see from an ending diagonal, right? You've got this, like it's all part of one move. Whereas with a fourth wave triangle, you know, you tend to see something a bit more, you know what I mean? It's like it's smaller in comparison to the entire thing, where we're kind of seeing something a lot kind of, do you know what I mean? A lot, almost a bit too, we're kind of seeing this, and it's like, whereas this is more reflective of this is the move, right? Does it make sense, guys? Karen, yeah, leading diagonal. No, Karen, ending diagonal, not leading diagonal. Master Day says, it seems strange that the first wave of this ending diagonal is so much longer than all the other waves. Is that allowed? No, that's actually what you tend to see with an ending diagonal. That's actually that's the most common thing to see with an ending diagonal. Yeah, absolutely. This is how ending diagonals normally look. Yeah? That's the normal look for an ending diagonal. Don't think that like this is normally an ending diagonal. It's like a perfect triangle like this. Like, yeah, it can happen like that, sure. But ending diagonals are much more typical to get like that, to get like a really big move in the first wave, and then a little the third wave, and then a little the fifth wave. Master Day says, I've misunderstood this then. Yeah, because look, remember, the third wave can't be the smallest wave. That's the second. Is that the second rule? But in this case, with an ending diagonal and also with leading diagonals, you've got the smaller fifth wave, which makes that totally fine. Now, again, I'm not saying this is what's happening. I'm just saying, like, I'm just going off what the chart is showing me, and I'm like, one of the I think one of the biggest things that prevents people from excelling just with Elliott wave. Now I know we do other things like market geometry, but what stops people excelling with Elliott wave is they fall in love with their wave counts, and they're not willing to evolve, to go with the flow, to roll the punches. You've got to be dynamic and go with the flow, and this it's very difficult for some people to do, because they are so they're craving certainty. They're craving certainty, and this is not the domain to find certainty. This is the domain to swim amongst uncertainty constantly, just not attaching ego, not attaching identity, not attaching anything onto the analysis that you do. You're just going with the flow, and then what happens is you're in the chaos, and then you get these little moments where there's like order, like confluence of probabilities. Then you take action, and then it goes back to the chaos of not knowing what's going on and stuff. And then you depending on your time frame, that could take weeks, could take days. If you're on smaller time frames, it could take hours. Or if you're very, very small time frames, then these little moments of confluence, they're there for a few seconds and then they're gone, right? So it depends on the time frame that you enjoy spending time with. But if you're the kind of person where you really can't stand swimming amongst uncertainty, then there'll be one of two things that will happen. One, you'll just fucking hate it. You'll be so frustrated all the time, crying and moaning, and eventually you'll give up. Or even worse, you will refuse to let go of your analysis that made sense to you a minute ago, and then stuff changes and you just refuse to let it go. Like if I was doing that, there's no way I would consider dropping what we were talking about and then going and then exploring an ending diagonal, which is a completely different structure. But I don't give a shit. I'm not precious about any of it. Like, I don't care. It's all chaos. It's all chaos until you get these moments where it all comes together. And again, on a much larger time frame, like if we go back to the daily, then we can sit here for like days and like, is that the third wave completed? Because like, if we're waiting, let's say we are waiting for this fifth wave here. Well, that's going to take like weeks to unfold. Maybe you're that kind of trader. I'm not that. That takes too long for me. But there's some people that want to do that. That's fine. And then there's some people that go down to the minutes and all that kind of stuff, and it all happens really, really quick. But in between trades, most of the time, you are in a state of chaos, unknown, uncertainty, and that makes a lot of people uncomfortable. They don't like it. They don't like sitting in uncertainty, and so they gravitate towards gurus who they say on stream or they say on YouTube, like, I know what's happening, I know, and it's very appealing to the kind of people that I want to know. And you can't know. Those people are either lying or they're delusional, right? Kaz says, so does this mean this completes the wave C? No, this means there is no wave C. I mean, if this is correct, what this means is, look, this means that this whole move here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is an ending diagonal. It would mean this entire move is this wave 5. I think that's what it means. Hang on. Yeah, that's what that would mean. Hang on. Yeah. You see, fourth wave, fifth wave, and so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what that would mean. Netbroker, if you say is an, I'm not saying it is an ending diagonal. We're just the way that you do this is you have a hypothesis. You attach nothing to it, right? You're not saying. You might have an idea that you might even think it's probably not that, or it's unlikely to be that. But go test it. Go, okay. Well, I think it is this. But I've got this little idea here. It's nagging me. I don't think it's going to be that, but let's test that hypothesis. You might find actually. Yeah. So I'm not at this moment saying, well, I will never say this is this, right? I will never, because I don't know. What do I know? Look, this is what's really going on. Price is just doing stuff, right? Caused by thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of individual people making decisions to buy and sell. Who am I to come along and say, I know what's going to happen? Like, come on. What I can tell you is this looks like an ending diagonal. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying that it could still be a fourth wave. I'm just playing with a hypothesis right now. The thing is now what we've got now are two completely diverging ideas. If this is still a fourth wave, we're expecting another push up. If this is an ending diagonal, then this is the completion of this third wave up. And now we've got this sideways, this downward, choppy sideways thing to maybe take us into the next, it could be the next month, Kaz says, oh, sorry, this is the subway wave 3. Yeah. Kaz, all right, yes, Netbroker. Okay, if wave 5, then... Okay, if wave 5, then it is clear. Where would you find an ending diagonal? I just found it, I think. There. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you mean? As in, this is wave, so 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've outlined it with these green lines. Now again, I'm not saying this is an ending diagonal. I'm starting with a hypothesis. I was just looking at this and I just had the idea, and so I'm just playing with that idea. Comprende? Just playing with it. Just playing with it. No, I said obviously where you would find an ending diagonal. Okay, if wave 5, then it is clear. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Got it. Yeah, of course. Yeah, wave 5 and C, etc., etc. But I'm trying to show you thought process. This is what happens. Like, you saw me kind of look at it and go, okay, well, this isn't a as is the way that I've done it. This isn't a way for correction. Okay. Then what? Okay. Well, it's just following like logical steps. If it isn't a fourth wave correction, why not? Oh, well, it's because it's broken the market structure. It's gone outside of the corrective, below what we labeled as the C wave, and so it's not going to be a C, not going to be a triangle. Okay, if not triangle, then what are other possibilities given, or I suppose even before then, does the fact that it isn't a corrective triangle affect the macro wave count? Like, do we still believe we're in a fourth wave? Okay, let's have a look at that. Yeah, this could still be a fourth wave, so it doesn't necessarily invalidate the sort of the step up, the logical framework within which this triangle is. So okay, so in that case, what could we be seeing? Oh, well, this could be a WXY combo correction. Is there anything to it's like asking yourself questions. Like you're an investigator. Okay, is there anything about the way that this is unfolding that would lead you to believe that that isn't the case, or are there any other possibilities, maybe given the current the newer price action? And you're basically kind of like, and this is where just, I suppose the experience comes in, and you just turn this off and you just look at it, and this, like, the more experience you get, you can start to build up like an intuition, and it's like a feeling. It's like something isn't quite right here. What is it? And you're asking yourself, you're probing, and then you like in this case here, you have an idea. You go, like, I'm kind of seeing some, like, I'm like condensing. I'm kind of seeing, this line in this here. It's kind of sloping upwards and it's condensing, and like, corrective. Okay, I wonder if this is an ending diagonal. And then you just go, okay, well, let's just, no judgment. Let's just play with that. And I'm liking it though. Kaz says impulsive waves like 5s and C's. Yeah, but the impulsive waves at the end of the move. So yeah, the 5 and the C. That's the only place you get an ending diagonal. And what's interesting is that it would be appearing the 5th wave of a really big move, 3rd wave, so at the end, right? And the psychology of an ending diagonal is just that you know, the selling pressure just crushes it down. And it just didn't want to break up above this. Just didn't want to break up. I mean, yet anyway. Point of control here. Prices come up above that now. It's about 23785, 237. Pretty much exactly where price is. Oh, I've got it. It's right here. This grey one. Let's make it. Yeah, we found some support there. Support, broke through. Kaz says, are ending diagonals the same as a wedge pattern? That's exactly what wedge patterns are. Yeah. That's exactly what wedge patterns are. And in a wedge formation, which is an ending diagonal, you have the breakout below and then the retest. So, but we've got extra layers now. We've got these. Look where it stopped. It stopped at the first warning line, and so, as you know, I don't. Maybe condone's too strong. I don't recommend when you're learning trading corrections unless it's a bigger time frame. Then within those corrections, you're actually trading impulses. You know. Oh, by the way, I'm sure I've said this, but do you know, like, apart from risk management, which is like obvious, do you know what is the biggest cause of traders failing, losing money, or just really damaging the amount of money that they're making? Do you know what it is? In fact, let's just do this, all right? Oh, wrong button. That's my laugh one. Okay. Other than risk management, what is the biggest cause of traders losing money or seriously impacting their profits? Other than risk management. Master Day says trading against the trend. It's not a bad answer. It's not a bad answer. Anyone else? Overconfidence? Okay. Tony says overtrading / chasing trades. Are they the same? Is that the same thing? Overtrading and chasing trades? Like chasing trades, you mean like FOMO, you mean? Or like trades where you're not letting it come to your entry, you're kind of FOMOing in? I think they're similar, but they're not quite the same. So which one do you want to go with, Tony? changing plan. These are all like good. So Tony says false forcing trading. Master Day says not confirming the new trend before entering the trade. Shirley says changing strategies too often. These are all great. These are all great. Okay, I'm going to give it to Tony. Over trading. Now these are all great. These are all great. But over trading, because when you do this, you think you should be trading every single move, trade, and it's the pathway to because you have an image in your mind that that's what trading is. Now, if you're a scalper, then yes, but you're still not trading every single little move, right? Obviously, the strategy for scalping is going to be vastly different than the strategy for position trading and very long-term swing trading. But if you look at the amount of moves that a scalper doesn't trade compared to the amount of moves a scalper does trade, it's not actually going to be too much different to the moves that a swing trader makes and doesn't make. Although really, the scalper's going to make a few more, but it's still not going to be the scalper going like buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. When it's the equivalent of a swing trader over days and weeks, like buying up here, selling down here, buying here, selling here. It's just like, that's not what happens. It's not what happens, right? If you're position trading, which is really just like, really it's like investing, then you buy and then leave it, big old positions that are in there for ages. But people think that trading is something that you're doing all the time. And it's not a machine gun. It's a sniper rifle, right? And so what happens, and this is like especially when you're new. I mean, look, when you're new, you should be simulating your trading, and then just do it. Just get the gun out and and just fail. Yeah, fine, because you're going to learn from your failings. But actual trading is more about patience and being okay with not trading. It's like imagine you're looking at somebody's spreadsheet and they've got like this guy that is a sort of posthumous mentor of mine. He was one of the biggest commodity traders in America, running like multi-billion-dollar hedge funds, and he was going through one of his students' journals, like spreadsheets, and he was doing like so many trades a day. And then some months he'd be up a bit, and then some months he'd lose a bit. And it's almost, there'll be like a few trades where he'd win really big and then just lose. And it's like, imagine if you just only did that trade and that trade, and that was it. You did one trade for the day, that was it. Like all this energy you're spending, like just losing, win, losing, blah, blah, blah. And it's not the way it should be done. You should go into the markets with a very specific strategy, and that's why when I'm teaching the course, the first thing I teach you is fifth wave trades. And so just so that's your plan, you're going in there looking for fifth wave trades, and then after that we then learn, okay, then after that let's think about how we can get into third waves, and then after that and then you slowly build from that. But and then once you've got them all under your belt, and one by one you've become confident with each one, then you can go into the markets and you kind of see what you can find a little bit. But when you're first starting, you should have a very strict plan that you follow. There is a specific setup that you're looking for, and don't trade if you don't find that setup. And that setup comes with rules, and if this happens, then don't do that. Like you see me here, where I said if this comes down below here, then I no longer think that's a triangle correction. That's what's happened. And so okay, now I'm not going to try and force my wanting it to be a fourth wave correction, because I love fourth wave corrections, and it would mean a nice potential fifth wave up. But what I want, or what I hope for, is irrelevant. It's like, what is price action doing? And so you want to trade because a trade represents a profitable opportunity. But if you're that wanting is going to mess you up, you've got to just let it go. And if Like, if there's an opportunity, it will present itself to you. It will come to you, right? You don't go and get it. You make sure you're ready for it. You're prepared. You've done the work. You're doing your analysis, and you're kind of there with your gloves ready for the catch. But you don't go and try and chase it or make it happen. And that's kind of similar to what I suppose Tony was talking about with, chasing the trades, because you kind of want to make a trade, or you feel like I should be making a trade. No, wait for your trade setup to come to you, to materialize. And there's some situations where you think it's happening, you think it's coming, and then at the last minute it just something else happens, or some confluence you were looking for doesn't transpire, and there's a part of you that goes, oh no, well, if I don't take this trade, I'm going to miss out. And it's like, well, no, because now you're no longer trading your trade setup. Now you're back to gambling. Now you're back to gambling, to pulling the thing and hoping for the best. That's not trading. I promise you, if you stick to your trading plan, and let's say you did. Should I show you this? No, I don't want to go on too much about it. But yeah, overtrading is the thing that fucks everyone up, right? Whether it's by greed, because you want to make 50% a month or something insane, which is completely unrealistic. Maybe you've been fooled by some guy on Instagram who showed you like insane percentages on his, on those trade cards you can show, not showing you the losses, and so you've got unrealistic expectations. But the turtle wins the race. Masters Day says not confirming the new trend before entering the trade. Oh yeah, so I'm just repeating myself. Makes sense, guys. I've got a bit of a rant there. Okay. Well, that's enough for today in terms of the analysis. I think I'm happy with this as a contender to the price action. And I'll tell you what, if I'm right, if this is what's happening, this is an ending diagonal, then once this correction has completed, and I'm not seeing any divergence here, for example, in these moves here, so I think that we are going to get another push down. And it might even break this market structure here, just to kind of really, show off to us and say, hey, lads, we're changing direction. But can you see, I'm not like price is coming down. I'm not seeing any divergence. I'm seeing more volume here. Same thing with the RSI. Yeah, so I think there's still more to calm down. And then I think the real key will be, will it re-enter this, will it pass this geometry line here? And if I'm right, let's say it comes down one more time and then it gives us the divergence, etc. It would, I think it would bounce off, and maybe even bounce off this warning line. I don't know. And if we see that and then it comes, down here, then it's like, okay. So that might be a correction, and then this is like the correction of the correction, and then we would expect, like that, I think. So we'll come back on, what day is it today? It's Wednesday today, so we'll come back on tomorrow and see where we are, and hopefully that has been helpful of some kind today. So we'll come back tomorrow and check that out. So I'm going to grab a drink of water, and we'll bring the music back, and go. Has that been helpful, guys? Gustav Master. I'm just gonna call you Master. No, I can't call you Master, that's weird. That's what girls call me. And Tony. Marcus says, great Andy as ever. Cool, nice one. So let's talk about the Decentralions NFTs. I've been working on those today, and I've got something cool to show you. Okay, and actually, and I had an idea just before coming on, and maybe we can play with that together. Oh, also, yeah, because we've got this working again now, I can show you the NFT thing. Let me take my shoes off. I'm knocking around, and you can hear everything. Yeah, you're welcome, Shirley. I love this Daft Punk style, whatever you call this. Well, I mean synthwave. Loving the vibes. Netbroker says yes, a little bit every day. Yeah, cool. At some point, maybe like once the NFC thing's through, and I'm back on, back on the course, back on module 21. It would be cool if we've got this kind of analysis I'm doing here. But then we have a segment where it's not scalping, but like where we actually sort of make some trades. It's not my forte, the whole intraday trading, scalping kind of thing. But it would be fun. It would be cool, right? So, you know what I mean? We'll make some trades. We'll do it live. And so I was chatting to Shaman about this. So we can actually, I think I mentioned this on a previous stream, we can just start with an amount, like $100, and we'll just, see what we can do with the old scalping. See if I can get into some scalping. And it'll be like, because it's quick, it's like, it's happening so fast. It'll be good content, right? Okay, let's talk about the Decentralions. Yeah, Shirley says scalping sounds great to see. Yeah, but I'm not a scalper, so it's not like it'll be outside my comfort zone. But that's fine. It's great content. I'm sure you guys you'd like to see my mind going really fast about trying stuff, and and I think I'd really enjoy the challenge. Outside of content for you guys, I wouldn't do it. It's just too intense. I'd rather just be a bit more chilled out. But the content I think could be really, really fun. Okay, so there's a few things I've been thinking with this Decentralions NFT launch, and I had an idea literally 10 minutes before the stream started, and so I'll come to that idea in a second. And so yesterday I had the first generation, the founders, where we're going to have 100 unique NFTs, and I've changed that to 200. And this is before the idea, so I'll get to this. And the reason why there was the change to 200 is that I've been speaking to my advisors. I have a board of advisors for the King Silver project, and one of the advisors I was speaking to, we're talking about this, and he said to me, he doesn't think I'm trying to raise enough money. And I was like, yeah, but I think the money that we're raising is going to be enough to produce the NFTs, and then the remaining amount should be enough to content marketing, social media marketing, to bring more people into the King Silver ecosystem, etc., etc. And he's like, yeah, but that's fine. But then what happens? Like when you run out of money, are you going to then do another raise again? And he says it actually doesn't. It doesn't seem like you're raising enough. You should be raising enough to start on the actual King Silver platform itself. And I agreed with him, like, yes, it would be awesome to raise like shitloads of money and then start building the King Silver platform. But in order to do that, with this, like the way that I'm doing it, with generation 1, that means in order to raise way more money, there's only two ways to do that. One is you charge way more per NFT, or you have more quantity. But the more quantity the less rare it is, and so it's kind of not as cool. And so we've been having like back and forth about that. And so the sort of the halfway measure is, I thought, well, we could just raise it from 100 to 200, because even then, I've got written down here, where did I put it? So if it's 200, for example, and we times it by 5 with each generation, then by the time you get to generation 8, and by the way, these names are all kind of placeholders, that sort of working titles, whatever. Although I like founder, hero, magician, engineer, builder, an artist. I'm not 100% sure about lover. I was going off like there's a book I love, masculine archetypes, called King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, and so I thought that's kind of interesting, but maybe it's a bit too weird. But I like founder, hero, magician, engineer. Those are cool. Builder, artist. So I like most of these. Anyway, so if the quantity starts at 200 and then goes up by 5 times with every generation, then by the time you get to generation 8, that's 15.5 million. That's like way in the future when we're like, that's like still like more success possible, but that's like, a great level of success if you've got like 15 million people, well, 15, 16, 17, 18, like about 19, almost 20 million people. That's like massive success. Then 200 out of like 18 million or so is, exceptionally rare. So that's still fine. So it's not, but in order to raise the money that my advisor was saying, then it would mean like the founders would have like, there'd be 1,000 of them. But I like the idea that, first of all, I want you guys to get rewarded for being here now, like just you guys. That there's how many people are watching now? I don't know how many people are watching this on YouTube and Twitch, like I kind of suggested you do yesterday. But we've got, I'm seeing 8 people on YouTube, 3 people on Twitch on a Wednesday evening. Right, and there are about 270 students of wave counting immersion, and of those students, assuming that you are all, everyone's on the wave counting immersion course, you guys are the ones that are here right now. And so I love the idea that the guys who are here right now are going to get something really special, right? Have the opportunity to get their hands on something really special as a reward for being here right now. Like, you're the most engaged. You're the ones who are, you're here. You showed up. And so the idea I had before we started, in fact, I'll do it now. I'll say that the idea I had, sorry, my nose is all like bunged up. I don't know why. That's like weird ASMR. I feel like I need to blow my nose, but there's no tissue or anything around. So what I was thinking was this. Something like this. Something like this. Bringing it down to some like low number, right? Or maybe 25 is too little. Because at the same time, I don't want anyone feeling like they were left out. But you guys are here, so let's say fit. I mean, 25 would be super rare. And that would reward everyone who's first. But 50 is a cooler number. Well, I was going with 100 before. Anyway, I'll play out the idea that I was having. Okay, so 50 founders. 25 founders. 25 founders. then 100 heroes, 500 magicians, and then we just go up from there. 2,500 engineers, 2,500, 500, or maybe 20. Maybe 20. Maybe 20 founders. How about that? 20, 100, 500, 2,500. Because then it's going up by 5. No, sorry, 5. Yeah, 5. I'm gonna look like a dumbass now because I'm getting my calculator out, and it's just to make life easy for myself. Where is it? Okay. I know I'm looking at like a dumbass now. 2,500 times 5. Like, that's hard to work out. Is that what it is? Is it just the same thing except do I just get rid of a 0? Is that it? Times by 5. Yeah, so it's just getting rid of so it's just getting rid of a 0 each time. So that's 1,625,000. And then, you know, that means by generation 8 we've got 25 founders. Out of a total of whatever all these work out to. Which I might as well work this out now, actually. So, one. I'll type it in 3,125,500 plus 6,250 plus 12,500 plus 2,500 plus 500 plus 100. So it's 1.95. Oh, I should have just gotten rid of the 0. Same thing there. So that would be 25 out of almost, you know, coming up to 2 million, which is again exceptionally rare. And then assuming King Silver success, then there's generation 9, 10, 11, etc. Is this making sense what I'm talking about? I'm talking about the rarities of the generations, and what we're talking about now is the sell for the founder NFTs. I'm going to go through more stuff I've been going through today as well, but the cool thing about doing it this way is that other than you guys right here being like rewarded, do you know what I mean? Like, it feels good that you guys are going to get rewarded when someone who isn't here now, hasn't been going to these live streams, but they might find out when I email them. Let's say the quantity was 200, even if it was 100. Like, you guys would snap these up, and then I'm going to email those guys, and they still get the same reward as you guys. You know what I'm trying to say? It feels, because what the way that we do it is we would do the founder launch. All 20 get snapped up. You know, awesome, well done. And then we will do the hero generation, and the hero generation is not as good as the founder. It's still wicked. I mean, you know, it's still, these are all amazing. And 100, once you know, it's like the title I've written here is the NFT collection that gets rarer the more King Silver grows, because this will happen with the demand for these NFTs. In order to use the King Silver platform, you need one of these NFTs. Like, in order to use Facebook, you need a profile. If you want to use Twitter, you need a Twitter profile. It's the same thing. And this is going to change as well. These, like you can see, I've put here 90 to 100% treasury fee discount when you own this, and that's because there's a random element to it. So let me just save that. Except I've got to change. I'm going to go through these benefits in a second. Okay, so there's an example here. So that's, that's 20, 100, Okay. Now get the calculator out again and make myself look like an idiot. If we've got $250,000 allocated to this generation, if only 20 are getting, although that's probably a large amount for just this many people in the ecosystem, let's be more realistic. Let's say $100,000 of value, and that means 25,000 is being allocated. Oops, to each generation. And so 25,000 divided by 20. 25,000 divided by 20 is 1,200. It's the same thing. That's 250. 25,000 divided by that's the same. 25,000 divided by 500. 25,000 divided by 500 is the same thing. Okay, and 25,000 divided by 2,500 is probably $10, right? Divided by 2,500. Yeah, 10. Okay. Okay, so that shows the distribution of the airdrops from the treasury. Shirley says it makes sense. Cool. Okay, so I'll show you like the newer developments. So how cool does that look? 25 unique NFTs. 25 unique NFTs. Now here's some new stuff. In fact, just okay. Okay, so what do Decentralion founders get? There's some new stuff here, right? There's all these benefits. So, in no particular order, I haven't told you guys this yet. Holders of any Decentralions will be able to get paid to mint new Decentralions. I told you that everyone who wants to participate in the King Silver ecosystem needs a Decentralion, and so supply and demand. There might be Decentralions that are available on secondary markets, but as soon as they're snapped up, there's going to be a supply issue. And so the way that new Decentralions are minted is through existing Decentralion holders. And so you will be able to charge whatever you want, and that will be decided by the market, because if you want to charge some big amount, the person next to you might undercut you and say, oh, I'll mint you a new Decentralion for less. And so the market will decide what the price is. You know, if there's someone willing to mint one for cheaper constantly, then the price will be driven down until collectively, you guys just decide it's worth more than this, or you get the idea. Supply and demand. And it's kind of similar to a mechanic. There's a few mechanics with some NFT games where, like in Zrun, you breed horses. So you have a great horse, and it's like in Zrun you have male and female horses, and the male horse, I think this is right, the male horse you put into a stable or something, and you're basically like a pimp, and you kind of put it for sale for female horses to come and breed with it, which is kind of crazy. And then you get paid, and the reason why they want to pay you is because your horse has these great qualities. It's like fast, and it has these like the genetics of the horse. The better the horse in its genetics and its bloodline, and there's different like genotypes and stuff, the higher the probability that those will be passed down to the new horse. And so and then those horses can then go on to win races, and they will have value on the market. They can go and sell it. And so the better horses can charge more money to mint that new horse. And so I love the idea that the new Decentralions that are created is entirely down to the community. And the price of each Decentraland is entirely the market decides. If you've got like a super rare, and all the founders NFTs will be super rare, but even within the rare founder, what marks the founder as distinctly different from the other ones in terms of the generations will be the discount that generation gets from the treasury fee. And so, generation 1 is like 90 to 100%, depending on, I've got here, the treasury fee discount for founders is between 90 and 100%, and is randomly generated based on a set of probabilities. 100% discount, there's a 0.1% chance, 99%, 0.4%, and then it slowly goes up. So there's a 35% chance that there's only a 90% discount. And so if you are fortunate enough to get a massive discount, 99%, then you'll be able to charge a lot more to mint a new Decentralion, because it doesn't mean that Decentralion is guaranteed to get a discount of 98%, but there's a much greater chance. And so people would want to spend more to get a Decentralion minted by you. And just entirely down to supply and demand. I love it. Right, it's not down to us, because I want to build something ultimately decentralized. And so right from the beginning, I'm thinking about how we can empower the community, how we can build this using game theory, and just done in a way where it can self-perpetuate without any centralized person or body having to make decisions. It's decided by the market. And so as the demand for King Silver grows, as people want to join, then they come to the platform where you guys have decided you want to put your Decentralion up for to allow minting or whatever. And there'll be like a marketplace, and you'll be saying I'll do it for this much money, and the person next to you will be offering a bit cheaper, but somebody might be willing to go for you because you've got slightly better attributes that they want, etc. And then they do it. You get paid, and then they get the Decentralion, and they can use it, they can sell it on secondary markets, they can do whatever they want with it. And if there's a big demand, then the prices will probably go up. You guys will realize there's everyone wants these Decentralions, and there's not many people supplying them, so the price goes up. And then if once the demand has been met, the surge of people wanting to come aboard, and there's maybe more supply than there is demand. There's more of you who are offering your Decentralion. You'll start trying to outbid each other to get, you know what I mean? And then the price will come back down. It's this beautiful supply and demand. Master Zay says, if a founder with a 99% fee reduction mints a builder, the builder will still have max 50% fee discount. That's a very good question. So, that's a great question. Okay. It's a great question. See, this is why this is so cool, because I get this kind of input from you guys. But I'll tell you my starting point of where I'm thinking with this. I'm thinking that there's a base probabilistic range within which a generation is going to be, where it's going to have its treasury discount. And I'm thinking, let's say you go to, because look, if you go to a founder, you can't mint another founder, because there's a fixed amount of those founders. At least that's the way I'm thinking about it right now. I think that's the way to do it. So a founder can only, well, even if like if there's 20 founders and there's 100 heroes, then whatever happens, you can only mint magicians. And then once there's 500 magicians, you can only mint engineers. At least that's my thinking so far. But I wonder if, because again, like I can't help it. I'm a visionary type. I'm always thinking about like the end in mind. If the end of this is that King Silver is a huge international platform with millions of people, is it a shame that there's like only 100 heroes and there's only 500 magicians, only 2,500? Like where the vast majority will be generation like 15 or 10, 15, and all these cool generations will be just with a real select few. I wonder if Marcus says that would mean all founders would be the same. What do you mean? Why would they all be the same? Each founder, I'm going to get to this, each founder has a completely random combination of attributes, like CryptoPunks, like Bored Ape Yacht Club, and I'll get to that in a second. So there'll be some founders that will be rarer than others, and which founder you get will be completely, up to the smart contract based on the probabilities you've set. So I wonder if it would be better, rather than timesing by 5, it times by 10, 20, 200, 2,000. And it starts to go up steeply, but it means that more people are going to get a chance to own some of these generations. Down here again, I'm just playing with ideas, because it's like on the one hand you want to reward people who are early, but at the same time you don't want to create this like tiny little club of people who got in, you know what I'm trying to say, like where the majority of people just feel like outsiders or excluded. That's like 200 million. That's like insane, insane levels of success, obviously. So it means, within that framework, everyone would feel part of it, Master Day says, I'm thinking if the builder minted by a founder will have a chance of getting a 99% fee discount, then the main advantage of founders will disappear. Yeah, I agree as well. So what I'm thinking is that there is a band, and I've got here 90 to 100% here, right? And I'm thinking there'll be a band. Actually, I've got to do this. Um, 80 to 90, let's say. So I've got a solution for you, Master Day, because you are right. 100% you're right. Maybe that's what you meant, Marcus. So there's these bans, and perhaps what we can do is and maybe these bands, because now like we're getting into like the hundreds of thousands and millions, and already it's still like a 50% discount, which is really big. So perhaps we've got 90 to maybe even 90 to 80, 80 to 60, 90, no, sorry, what am I talking about? 80 to 100 to 100, 60 to 80, 40 to 60, uh, 20 to 40, and that can be 10 to 20, let's say. Maybe this is 5 to 10. I mean, this is 2 million users, and that's pretty damn good. Oops. So what I was getting at is, what if each generation has a band of possibilities, and let's say the founder is between 80 and 100% treasury discount. Well, I mean, it's kind of nice that the founders have a bit of a special one, right? So maybe we've got 70 to 90, and then 50 to 70, we've got 30 to 50, and then we've got 10 to 30, no, 20 to 30, 10 to 20, 5 to 10, and 0 to 5%. I mean, that's like 200 million. That's like ridiculous, obviously. Not impossible, nothing, you know, but Netbroker says founder to lover, 8, founder to lover, 8. First generation, then the same down to as many generations as you want to add. It's the same down to as many I'm not sure what you mean. I'm assuming you mean like the treasury discount. But what I'm saying is, like, what if each generation has its band, right? So founder 90 to 100%, and then hero is 70 to 90, and that within these bands, the if a founder produces a magician, much more likely to end up with like a top level, like 70%, close to 70% treasury discount, where the hero has a much less chance of producing that high level magician. Something like that, right? And if all the magicians are being created, maybe so to produce an engineer, if a founder, because think of this in terms of like the market. If a founder, a hero, and a magician can create an engineer, then why would somebody maybe spend more with a founder when they can just go to a magician, right? Unless the older the generation, or the more separated between the generation you want to create and the person you go to create it, maybe it just exponentially increases the chance that you are going to get a top level. Like, so if a founder creates an engineer, or a founder creates a builder, then you're almost guaranteed to get like within the top band of possibilities within that generation. That's one possibility. I tell you, there's a mechanic in Z-Run, and maybe I'll show you. I've probably still got it open somewhere. It's not the bloodlines. It's the It's the genotype. Yeah, so let me see if I can explain this. So the genotype of a horse, right? So it's kind of similar to the generations idea, right? And they label them as Z for Z-Run. So Z1 through to Z12, it says here, where does it say it? Maybe if I go to the breed type. Well, this might be similar to what we've got here, right? They've got these, they call them breed types: Genesis, Legendary, Exclusive, Elite, Cross, Pacer. And these are, and the older the generations in this game, the faster they are, right? The more races they're going to win. But you can't breed the same generation. Like, for example, the only way to breed, like, you can't breed Genesis, right? In the same way I'm saying you can't breed, you can't make founders. So two Genesis coming together to breed can produce a legendary. Two legendaries coming together can breed an exclusive. Two exclusives coming together can breed an elite. Two elites coming together can breed a cross. But if an elite and a cross come together, it always picks the bottom one. So if you pick a Genesis and a cross, it will produce a cross. So like a Genesis, the ultimate horse, if you breed a Genesis with a Pacer, you'll get a Pacer. And so I'm sure you'll get some characteristics from the Genesis, but the actual the breed type, if you want to breed a legendary, the only way to do it is to breed two Genesis together. But what that means is that there isn't a controlled quantity of Genesis, legendary, exclusive, elite, etc. It's open to the market to produce. So if we went down a similar route and said, okay, rather than maybe this is the starting. I'll take my ideas step by step at a time, right? So what if you wanted to produce a hero, you had to go to a founder, right? A founder produces a hero. If you can't afford what the founders are charging to produce a hero, then maybe you can go to a hero to produce a magician. And maybe that's too expensive for you. Maybe we're really later on in the generations. And so you think, well, I can afford an engineer, so I can get a builder made, right? So maybe there's something like that. And that means that naturally the market will produce more of these, progressively more, because they will be progressively cheaper the later the generations that you go. And that would mean that there would only ever be the original founders, because you won't be able to make any more, which would make them exceptionally rare. And that makes me think that maybe 20 is just not kind of, I don't know, man. It's not a lot, is it? This is making sense, what I'm talking about so far. I'm just going to share my thoughts with this. It is an interesting idea going the Zedron route, where, you know, if you have a magician Decentralion, then you can produce engineers. If you have a hero, you can produce magicians. If you have a founder, you can produce heroes. Would it be weird to it probably would. I was going to say, I think it'd be weird to do the same thing that Zedrun does, which is not. It's not only with Zedrun. There's other things that do it as well, where you have to have two founders have to come together to breed to create a hero. But if a founder and a hero come along, you'll produce a hero. No, wait, that doesn't work. What did I say this did? Oh, I see. Okay, so it always produces the one down. So if a Genesis and a Genesis come together, it produces legendary. If a Genesis and a legendary come together, it produces an exclusive. So it goes one down from the lowest one. So if we, where is it? If we had that same mechanic, Marcus says, but does that mean there could be more heroes made from founders other than the original 100? If we went down that route, then yes, because the founders would produce new heroes according to supply and demand. Masters A says, by the way, chat on white background does not show very well. Yeah, there's nothing I can do about that. Well, I mean, there is, but I don't need to know it right now. It's not necessary. But I'll remember that for next time. I'll create a different chat thing. But I can just get rid of it now if it's just kind of getting in the way. There we go. Master Day says, is there a minimum cost for minting to avoid someone creating thousands for themselves for free? Well, one mechanic they have in Zedrun to prevent that is a horse is only capable of breeding so much. So every time a horse, like you put your horse for breeding, or two horses have to breed, every time that happens, there's like a delay for the next time that's allowed to happen. And every time a horse is bred, it gets longer and longer and longer. I think there's another dynamic, something like that. So they've thought about that. So I think something like that would be a great idea. I wonder. But yeah, it's a great point, Masters A. Because when it comes to supply and demand, you don't want someone just flooding the market with an infinite number of Decentralions, because then it renders all Decentralions virtually worthless, because that's the nature of supply and demand. If there's like 1 billion of these Decentralions and only 1 million people want them, then they're pretty much going to be free. So that's a very good point. And again, going back to what I said, I'm always going to want to come up with a solution that does not require centralized control, right? Doesn't require somebody deciding, making changes. And so it's like, well, what is it that we want to accomplish? What is that we want to be happening? On the one hand, we want earlier generations to be going for a good price, right? Because they are potentially, if you look at the, let me refresh this, offering the holders potentially huge discounts on the money they could be paying into the treasury, right? And so if somebody is going to be saving $100,000 a year and some ballers $100,000 a month, right? We don't want them to be able to just get that NFT for free. Like it's worth something. And so there needs to be a dynamic way of controlling the supply and demand. That would be organic and dynamic. Master Zay says the mechanics sounds good. Definitely there should be a time delay between mints. Yes, 100%. Marcus says the numbers for each generations not to increase then. If that's the case, if these numbers don't increase, again, we're just playing with ideas. If these numbers don't increase, then it would mean that as soon as there are 2,000 magicians, then the next ones that are minted are automatically going to be engineers. And then once they're all minted, the next ones are 100% going to be the builders, which is, that's fine, that's cool. But then as you start to get towards these later ones, what it means then is that, because on the one hand, I said I want to reward people who were here first, rightly so. But the problem with that mechanic is it means that later on, no one can get no one can get a hero, no one can get a magician. They're taken. Like there might be some for sale for obscene prices, but generally speaking, someone who discovers the project like next year or something, it means that they just can't get a hero. They can't get a magician. Is that right? Is that right? On the one hand, yes, you want to reward people who are here early. But then it's like, think about what's going to, like, the success of the ecosystem is going to come from these people who are coming in and and producing value. So if someone's coming in and producing epic amount of value, and they can afford to pay maybe you guys a lot of money to get a hero, but they can't, I kind of think the Z-Run route might be better. But with dynamic, organic controls. For example, so on the one hand, I want to people who come in producing a ton of value, bringing a ton of value to the ecosystem. They want to buy a hero. They should be able to get a hero, I think, and spend whatever is the going rate that you guys are charging for that. That makes sense. On the other hand, I want people who are coming in who don't have big financial means to not be priced out. Like they can't afford even the most basic Decentralion, right? I don't want that to happen. And again, supply and demand. Master Zay says, one more danger is when a founder has limited mints per time, what prevents them from only minting for themselves to snatch up all the earlier generations as much as they can? Also a great question. So I think Z-Run have also solved that problem. Oh, camera froze. Sorry, I'll fix that. Do. Look at that, I'm frozen in time. Sorry, my streaming software crashed. Are you still here? Hit me up in the chat. Let me know you're still here. I had to restart the streaming software. Let me know in the chat if you're still here. You're still here. Cool. Wicked. Okay. Yeah. So Zedrun have solved this where they don't allow that. There's a minimum breeding cost, and so they can't just breed for themselves for free. It costs money. It's like there's like a floor price that is set, and you can't charge less. So that might be a solution to that as well. So we would just look at Zedrun and see how they've done it specifically. But if I remember correctly, there is you can't just bring together two legendaries. Where is it? You can't bring together 2 Genesis horses for free and just pump out loads of legendaries. You can't, because it's super expensive to do that. And if you do it, fine. Well, you've paid for it. Fine, yeah. You can pay for your own things, but it will cost lots and lots of money. But then again, if you're doing it to yourself, you're paying yourself. That's something we've got to look into. I'll look into. I'll look into this. But this is the thing. Like when you're going down this route, like when I'm trying to think of the Kingsilver mechanics, it's constantly like, well, what if this happens? Well, maybe this could be gamed. What if this happens? And it's like, it's just going forward and then identifying these things and then just coming up with solutions, because you know what the end goal is, you know what it is you're trying to achieve. And the answer, the most elegant answer, is not an answer whereas, well, we can step in and make these decisions. That's not an elegant answer. An elegant answer is something that is self-perpetuating. It's the most beautiful solutions are ones that are like game theory, where it's just all of the individuals do what you want. And this is the beauty of markets, right? Supply and demand. It's like this is the problem of communism and centralized price control, because any centralized entity, there's no way they can possibly have all the information that the entire economy has right on the edges, on the fringes of all these individual market participants making all these micro decisions as to what the value of anything is. So in a free market system, it always outcompetes a centralized controlled market, because the intelligence is distributed amongst the entire population, which frees up the centralized power to focus on other things. Master Day says, but that floor price must be low enough to let new people join easier. That price could be too low to preventing minting for themselves. Well, no, but here's the thing. That floor price, because you are 100% right. That floor price would be like quite high up here. And this is like assuming like much later on in the project, right, when there's lots of options going on. But as you start to get down from hero, magician, engineer, that floor price would come down. And see, I've got to think about this. I've got to do some research. But I know that Zedrun has something similar, so I just got to look at see what they're doing. It's just finding that right balance between making sure that Decentralions can't game the system unfairly, but they can get paid what they're worth, while at the same time the newer generations, let's say we're at the artist level, then the floor price for the builders is low enough. But don't forget, that means that 200, like in this case, 200,000 potential 200,000 builders are available, and who's not going to want to mint artist, if you're a builder and you can just earn money for free, why would you not? You know what I mean? So there's no disincentive for doing it for the builder. And so let's imagine you've got a market of 200,000 people all kind of outpricing each other. Now, all the builders are going to have different attributes, and some are going to have, you know, not just the treasury fee discount, but the builders themselves will have rarer attributes for the collectible aspect. But then within the builders, you'll have a price range of the much more rare builders will be more expensive, but then the much more common ones, they'll be outbidding each other cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And so I don't think, so the floor price is there to I think make sure that your first concern isn't a problem where you've got, you know, founders just minting stuff for themselves because there's a floor price. The floor price is to protect from that happening. I believe it makes sense. Whereas the floor price for the latest generation, like the builder, let's say, will be low enough to be to make new Decentralions possible for anyone to get. And then going back to what I was saying before, you know, I said like every time you mint a new Decentralion, there's a time delay. Maybe that time delay can be dynamically controlled based on the supply and demand that the system is recognizing. And so if there is a surge of supply, maybe I've got an interesting idea. So maybe not just with the control of supply and demand, the waiting times between minting is adjusted dynamically to accommodate for that supply and demand, so that the price of those the price remains how we want it to. Like, imagine a price curve, right? A price curve from the rarest, the oldest generations up to the newest generation. We want to see a nice curve, right, where the earlier founders are getting earlier generations are getting rewarded, but the newer generations are, you know, as cheap as possible. Really, we get a nice gentle curve. And we program like the algorithm to, when it notices the price is kind of getting out of that, it adjusts the minting gap, you know, the space between minting, it adjusts them to bring that curve back into alignment. And perhaps also, like I've got here 20, 200, 2000, etc. But what if this is more of a, because you could draw this on a curve. You could draw this on a curve, like an exponential curve from there's like 20 of these, 200 of these, 2000 of these, and exponential. So this could be more a curve that the algorithm will maintain. And so if there is an influx of demand for magicians, and so more magicians are created, it will maybe mean that the pause in heroes producing magicians will get suddenly really long, because the system recognizes, okay, there's too many magicians compared to engineers, builders, etc., 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 and so the pauses will get really, really long. And because the pauses are long, supply and demand, that means those heroes will then charge more, you know, per mint, and then supply and demand will affect the people actually trying to get magicians. And at the same time, so it will wait until the other, like the engineers, catch up, etc., etc. So I think there's some interesting things that we can do to maintain the ratio of founders to heroes to magicians to engineers, if that makes sense. So you still get the spirit of what I'm trying to suggest here, of like timesing by 10. So maybe that ratio can be trying to maintain there's always 10 times more heroes than founders. Although if there's never going to be more founders than 20, then the hero to founder ratio will always get exponentially, will change. Master Day says, when someone is a 30% builder, they could mint at floor price to themselves and sell higher. But then again, it's not different from just minting to someone else at the same price. Oops. Dynamic algorithm makes sense. When someone is a 30% builder, okay, they could mint at floor price to themselves and sell higher. Sure, but then they're selling higher on a secondary market, and they're competing against someone else who's offering the floor price. So fine if they want to do that, but no one's going to buy their raised price. You know, supply and demand, and that's fine, right? So yeah, I'm going to keep thinking about this, but it's I'm liking that sort of direction. I'll keep thinking about it. But this is the cool thing about this pre-mint. We're working this out together. We don't even have to have it worked out right now. As long as you guys have faith in me to ultimately make the right decisions in this, then I think that's all that matters. So let me go through the so yeah, that was all just going through one point, right? Get paid to mint new Decentralions. I think that's such a cool dynamic. That's just a really fun thing about not just the Zedron horses, but also Axie Infinity. That's like the number one NFT gaming project that there is, and you have Axies that kind of, you know, breed, and then the attributes of the Axies then can have, you know, there's different probabilities of them going down into the new the children, as well as like a chance for completely new attributes to appear, which is just kind of fun and cool. And I just think it's really cool. So and also so what I was thinking, look, if there's just 20, right, then we're not going to raise a lot of money. We're probably just going to raise enough money just to do the artwork. I mean, would we do that? Would we raise enough money for the artwork? It depends. If we want to go for a style like this, you know, I need to find an artist and speak to him, but I suspect, well, anyway, so what I was thinking outside is the launch we would do the founders first, and then very soon after we would do the heroes. And so, yeah, okay, so this actually ties in more to this new idea where everyone can mint the next generation regardless of how many there are currently. But what we would do is we would sell the first heroes as, again, fundraising. And then after we've sold the founders and after we've sold the heroes, after that point, once obviously the system's in place that allows you to do this, you will be the ones that then create the magicians, something like that. So in other words, we're going to sell all the ones that we need to do the fundraising that we need to produce the NFTs. And according to my advisor, ideally raise the money we need to make a start on the actual King Silver platform itself, right? Like a prototype, an MVP. So I need to just, you know, work out the details for that over the next couple of days. So you can see what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find that nice balance between trying to keep different interests happy. The new people, the people who are here first, the next people who are to come, people much later down the line in a few years, that they can come along and they can access the ecosystem without needing a lot of money. They can work their way up, and once they achieve success, or if they come along and they're just a big baller, if they want to, they can get their hands on one of these really great generation Decentralions. Just finding the right balance where it's you know what I'm saying? It's like the right balance. And then we're close, you know. And then obviously from my perspective, building the project, we need to raise enough money to do it. The more money we raise, obviously the easier it's going to be to build, not just build the project obviously, but to market the project, market the future. Because all these people, like the more people I can bring in to the ecosystem, the more potential customers you guys will have to produce the next Decentralions. So it's in all of our interest, right? But all of that is only going to be is only going to mean anything if there is the demand. And why would there be the demand? It's because the King Silver ecosystem is active. There is value either being produced, or it's ready for the value creators to produce the value. So the King Silver ecosystem still has to happen, right? Otherwise it's just an NFT collection. And this is one thing that differentiates the Decentralions from any other NFT collection I've seen. They're all cool, and there's like really rare ones and all this kind of stuff, and they're collector's items. But CryptoPunks that are selling for multiple millions, they're just collectibles. And what you can see I'm trying to create here with the Decentralions is all of that awesome collectability, and I'll get to more stuff of it in a second. All of that collectability, all of that like cool, dynamic, rare, different types and versions and attributes, all of that, but actual utility. Primarily, these are utility NFTs. They're utility NFTs that are an integral part of the King Silver DeFi ecosystem. And that's something I haven't seen. So I'll keep working on this. So that's the get paid to mint new Decentralions. And this is an idea I had today. Mint new attribute NFTs. And this can come later. Let's say you've got your NFT. You've got your founder, you guys, or somebody else has their hero, the magician. They really like it. And there's some attributes which are just, once you've got the NFT and the attributes are, decided by the smart contract, it's kind of done, And yeah, you can keep buying new Decentralions, but let's say you own a magician. It might be like quite expensive to make another magician. But let's say you want to customize your Decentralion just for the collectability factor. There's some really cool shades that is out there. Or what if we as a community just have like some cool ideas for stuff we want to add? Like there's like some sort of cool sunglasses or whatever. Over time you can imagine like there'll be all kinds of cool, fun ideas for things to add. So I thought, how cool would it be if you, as a founder, but all of the NFTs will be able to do this, all of the Decentralions, you can mint separate attribute NFTs that can also then be traded on the secondary markets and things, and those attributes will have different rarities. And so maybe again, just like the minting of new Decentralions, there is a sort of a time period, a freeze period, where you can mint a attribute, and it like when you're researching technology in Command and Conquer, StarCraft, those kind of games, you press science and or civilization and it researches. Maybe it could be something similar where we decide, again, based on supply and demand dynamics and wanting to maintain the rarity of certain attributes, we can set the times for those. And let's say it takes like 30 days to kind of produce an attribute NFT. You don't know what you're going to get, but the earlier the generation, the greater chance you have of producing a rarer attribute, and the rarer the attribute, the more it's going to be worth on the secondary markets. So that's another way that these NFTs can produce revenue for their owners, and then again, organically, dynamically, it then provides the community the opportunity to customize their Decentralions in any way they see fit. Different combinations are cool. That you really love this pair of shades and you want to change your hair color, you can do it. If and the rarer, like let's say there's a hair color which is like aqua blue or made of crystals or something, we can go down that route later. But it's like super rare, 0.01% chance of it appearing. And obviously supply and demand, there's only going to be about one of them or two of them on the market, and they're very expensive. You're a baller, you want to spend the money, great. So I'm thinking the early generations have a much greater chance of being able to produce those tradable attributes. I think that's a really cool idea. The monthly treasury airdrop idea, you've already heard that. I talked about that on the other live stream. If you haven't heard it before, tell me and I'll go through it. But a percentage of the treasury fees I talked about that come from the profits of everyone in the ecosystem, right from the oracle to the fund manager to the investor, everyone involved in the ecosystem in all aspects. When they make money, there's like a little tax fee that goes to the treasury, so that the ecosystem can perpetuate itself into the future, continue its development without outside investor capital. And so a small percentage, which we will decide collectively, but ultimately in the end it will be like the governing decentralized autonomous organization that will decide that what the percentage will be, but a percentage will then be airdropped to the generations. And it could be once a month, it could be once a week, it could be every day, whatever we decide is best. And it will be distributed to the generations equally to the generations. So the example I've given here is, let's say it's $100,000 for the airdrop. That's 25,000 that will be distributed to each generation. But because there's only going to be, if we stick with this quantity, 20 in generation 1, that each individually they get 1,250. But in generation 4, because there's 2,500 people in generation 4, in this example, they would get $10 each. So you can see that the earlier the generation, the more of these airdrops, the greater the airdrop is. But I've changed this now to 20, 200, 2,000, 20,000. So again, this is not decided. We're just brainstorming. So that's that. The Aslan allocation I've talked about already. By getting the founder, you get between 200,000 and 100,000 Aslan, which is 200,000 Aslan is worth $1,000, valued at 0.005 cents per token. And in the same way as the profit fee discount is a range, and it's determined probabilistically in the same way as this, when you get the NFT, you might get the bigger allocation, but there's an exponential sort of curve where I've got it here. I'm going to share this page with you in a day or two. So 2 people will get the million Aslan, 5 will get 750,000, 10 will get 500,000, 25 will get 350,000, and then 160, which is most people, will get the 200,000, right? So that's kind of just, again, a wicked benefit. I've got the 90 to 100% treasury discount for the founders. King Silver Academy lifetime membership. It's going to be turning into a subscription. Not the wave counting immersion. You've got lifetime access to that, but all the stuff we're going to be doing as well in the King Silver Academy, that's going to be turned into a subscription. But for everyone who owns a founder NFT, it's going to be free. And the Founders Club inside the network. And so inside the network, there's going to be down here. So I've got here Decentralions. This is just where you can see me just chatting about, the different potential styles and stuff. If you haven't seen this, take a look. This is where I got you can see the development of the sort of going into Mid-Journey and trying stuff out, and just trying out different styles. And look at this. Look how cool this looks. Right, that's Mid-Journey created that. Looks epic, right? Looks so cool. But I don't think it's fun enough. It's a bit sort of serious to be like a profile photo, I think. But yeah, so this at the moment this is open to everyone, but once these are produced, then this will be closed, and only this is the Decentralions, so that'll be only open to the Decentralions. But then there'll be another one, the founders, and that'll be only for the people who get the founders. So it'll be a very kind of tight knit little sort of mastermind group, and yeah, and I've got here the first 50 Decentralions. See, that's when the quantity was 200. If we're doing 20, then obviously everyone will get a one-on-one with me for an hour. And I've got here also, you will get a Founders Bitcoin Ordinal. Have you guys heard of an Ordinal? There's literally in the last month, there's somebody has produced the technology to produce NFTs on the Bitcoin blockchain. NFTs started on Ethereum because Ethereum has the ability to program smart contracts, and then someone programmed a smart contract that allowed for these non-fungible tokens, like the ERC 771 or whatever the contract was called, that allowed for these NFT tokens to be produced. Now Bitcoin doesn't have like a smart contract layer to it. It doesn't have so what is it? Java machine or whatever it's called, anyway, JVM. But if I remember correctly, it's something to do with what you can do is you can code data into sats when you make transfers. And what someone's done is they've coded a very simple data thing. God, like I sound like an idiot, but I'm not a super technical guy. So what that allows is that you can on one sat, you can send data on the sat. And what that means is that a sat can contain an image. It can contain a string of text. It can contain a video if it's not too large in size. And so what that means is that you can mint an NFT on Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is the most secure cryptocurrency in existence. Obviously, it was the first cryptocurrency. So I think it would be really cool for the founders to have a duplicate founder Decentralion on Bitcoin. It's there in your Bitcoin wallet, and it's on the Bitcoin blockchain. I just think that's got a really cool factor. Yeah, Master Day says yes, Bitcoin has NFTs too now. Yeah, they're called ordinals. Master Day says they say BTC NFTs are more real NFTs than on Ethereum because all the info is on one blockchain. But ETH NFTs, some info, images for example, are outside the blockchain. That's true. Yeah. So they. So I was reading an article about this. I probably got it somewhere on all my tabs. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, this is about, they call it inscriptions on the Bitcoin blockchain. Ordinals. So this is ordinals.com. These are all the latest blocks. Here we go. Ordinals inscriptions. That's what they're called. So Bitcoin ordinals have taken over Web3. At least that's how it seems. The space has been buzzing since software engineer Casey Rodemir launched the protocol on January the 21st. So this is super new, January the 21st this year, with some excited about the new upgrade and others swearing ordinals off entirely. I think they're very short-sighted, those who don't like ordinals. Despite all the notoriety, fewer than 130,000 ordinals exist at the time of writing. And when was this written? February the 17th, so just a few days ago. So why are ordinals so scarce? The vast majority of people simply don't yet know how to buy them, let alone create them. With higher barriers to entry, that means potential opportunities abound, but it also means higher risk. If you're ready to take that chance and embrace the potential for ordinals, we're here to guide you on how to blah, blah, blah. So what are ordinals? Each Bitcoin is broken into 100 million units called Satoshis or sats. The new ordinals protocol allows people who operate Bitcoin nodes to inscribe each sat with data, creating something called an ordinal. That data inscribed on Bitcoin can include smart contracts, which in turn enables NFTs. In rough terms, ordinals are NFTs you can mint directly onto the Bitcoin blockchain. So here we go. NFTs on Ethereum often point to off-chain data on the Interplanetary File System, IPFS, a decentralized file storage system, sort of like the blockchain's hard drive, that can be changed using dynamic metadata. To illustrate, some NFT projects update the metadata of individual NFTs to improve image quality. They might even ask their holders to click the refresh metadata button on OpenSea to get the new higher quality image. The ability to change an NFT's metadata alludes to a deficiency Rodemir was trying to improve when he created the new protocol. In Rodemir's estimation, NFTs are incomplete. That's what you said, Master Day, right? Because they require off-chain data. On the other hand, ordinals are complete in that all the data is inscribed directly on-chain. That's why Rodemir refers to them as digital artifacts, not Bitcoin NFTs. So I think it's just a cool factor of if we mint these the founder Decentralions, also on Bitcoin. And the reason why I say also, we're not like, oh, we're only going to mint them on Bitcoin as ordinals, is because there's no interoperability right now with MetaMask and DeFi platforms, and so it would be silly. In the future, though, I'm sure that if this takes off, then and it is superior, right? Because it's more secure and it's more like, if I've got a CryptoPunk and let's say it's worth $20 million, hey, let's be visionary with Decentralions. If I've got a Decentralion and it's worth $20 million, where would I prefer that NFT to be? On Ethereum or on Bitcoin? I'd prefer it to be on Bitcoin, but it has to be usable, right? So if you can't read it, if it doesn't work on MetaMask and all that kind of stuff, it's still very, very early. This is something that's literally launched in the last month or two. So I just think it'd be really cool to mint it on Bitcoin as well. To get primed for the future. And it also means that you will have an ordinal like really early. Like you'll have one of the first there's a few 100,000 now. So in the future, when there's billions of these things, you'll be like, yeah, I've got one of the like really early ones. I just think it's like a really cool factor. So that's that. And this is a cool thing I thought of today as well. Actually, my advisor thought of it. Once you get a Decentralion, you'll have a referral link. Share that link with friends that you think might be interested in this, and if they get if they buy a founder too, then I'm thinking, what have I said here? Yeah, so if two of your friends buy founders, then you'll get a hero free when they're available, right? You'll get a hero for free, right? And then when we sell the heroes, then the same thing, the heroes will then get a free magician. I'm not 100% on this quantity 2200, because if there will never be, because what we're talking about before, right? If there's never ever going to be more founders created, I kind of feel like 20 might not be enough. Do you know what I mean? Because if there's 20 founders and there's like in the future 20,000 heroes and 200,000 magicians, just feels like a bit too. I know on one hand, I know you want, if you're one of the 20, you want to be just to have these super rare NFTs. I get it, but again, trying to find that balance between rewarding the early people and also the new people coming in, not feeling like, look at this elite Illuminati group, Anyway, so I'll think about that some more, right? So that's all the benefits that I've been talking about, and yeah, there's the possibility for everyone who gets one. There's the possibility of getting some more stuff for free, like getting another really valuable later generation Decentralion. And so now this is something that what I'm about to show you is, again, I'm just brainstorming. I'm just coming up with ideas. So one thing I really like about CryptoPunks is there are these, there's types and there's attributes. And so the different types are alien, ape, zombie, female, and male. And so aliens are very rare. There's only 9 aliens, 24 apes, 88 zombies, and then there's like loads of females and twice as many males, right? And so these are exceptionally rare, and they're types. And then those are your types. And then on top of that, you've got all of these attributes, police cap, clown nose, blah, 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 right? And these can be combined in all kinds of ways, up to 7 possible, attributes together. There's only one which has all like 7 attributes. It's this guy. He has cigarette, beard, earring, hat, sunglasses. There's probably something else he's got. I can't count 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's probably something else he's got. Oh, it tells you. Here we go. So he's got a cigarette. He's got an earring. He's got a mole. Okay. Buck teeth. Okay, there's a little white tooth there. Top hat, classic shades, and a big beard. He's got 7 attributes. And it was the last sale it went through was October 2022. It sold for $1.8 million. And it has 0 utility. It's just the cool factor. It's just the collectability of it. And so I thought that's a great starting point for the Decentralions. So where do we go? Now, these types are just ideas. I'm totally open to ideas. But what I was thinking is have 6 types. And I like the idea of getting a bit philosophical, getting a bit of meaning in there. But I'm open to ideas. Again, these images are just placeholders. This is just Midjourney's AI, right? So I've got here, and again, the rarity would be exponentially, rarer, which means that most people will get this, and then if you're lucky, you might get this. But I'm looking at again, being inspired by CryptoPunks. Where I've lost it. There it is. So, for example, how did I find this out? Hang on. So, if I click on Alien, I think I saw another website. Here it is. There we go. So, if I go to this one, here we go. So, CryptoPunk statistics. Where did I see this? I think that's it. Down here, there was attributes somewhere. Here we go. So look, see these types? So here we go. So the alien's the rarest. Don't know if you can see this. I'll zoom in. Right. So it says here, the CryptoPunk traits. The alien, the chance of getting an alien, if you were to mint CryptoPunks now, right? The chance of you getting an alien is 0.1%, right? Because it's like 9 out of 10,000. So it's 0.1%. And then a male, like 60%. A female, let's say almost 40%. Zombie, almost 1%. And an 8.2. And this is what makes an alien so special. When you've got an alien, the fact that it's so rare to show up, I just think it's really cool. And then you've got the different percentages for the attributes. 1.7 for purple hair, 1.5% for red mohawk, etc., etc. And so what I've got here is 60% for here, 30%, 8, and then it starts to get really rare, 1.5%, 1.4, and then 0.1%. And I've got the names of these, again, the rarity, I'm kind of liking that rarity, 60, 30, 8, 1.5, 1, sorry, 0.4, 0.5, that totals 100%. I'm liking that, but the concepts of these and how they would look, I'm open to ideas. I've got here, and this is kind of going a bit like deep and philosophical, I've got here order, chaos, fire, flow, light, and spirit. And I'm open to ideas. And each one of these would have there'd be different colors. And order, I've got here being red, although these two could swap because I've got here fire, orange, but order could be orange. And these are lions as well. So it would make sense that the most lions, although these are android lions, would be orange. And then fire, because I'll show you what these represent. So I've just I wrote these out today, and I want to hear your feedback. So I've got here order. Order Decentralions build the foundations, systems, and rules that allow for cooperation, sustainability, and greatness. I don't think that's that well written. Chaos. Chaos Decentralions are the deviants, mischief makers, disruptors, and trolls whose resistance to rules and convention tests the validity of ordered systems and prevents them from becoming tyrannical, right? If you're a fan of Jordan or know Jordan Peterson's work, he has these books. One's called 12 Rules for Order or something, and the other one's about chaos. And he talks about the dynamic between order and chaos. It's the yin and yang. Although in this case, they're not balanced like that. But you need both. Order is, systems, traditions, rules, law, order, all that kind of stuff. But if that's all you have absolute tyranny, you know, where everything is watched and you can't do anything. There's zero creativity. I mean, to get a bit kind of philosophical, I guess, if that's the right word, all of the creativity in the world doesn't come from societies that are tightly controlled, like communist, fascist, whatever the situation. That's not where art comes from. Art comes from cultures where there's more chaos. There's more like, you know, the government is less in control. There's more kind of, that's where the art comes from. That's where creativity comes from. So you need that balance of order and chaos. And I thought, kind of cool, kind of fun thing where there's like, you know, mostly order, then there's a good amount of chaos. Because when I was producing these AI, you can see these like crazy zombie sort of looking ones, and they look really cool. Like the zombie ones are probably my favorites. Like they just look so awesome. Like, where's this guy that I did? This guy, right? He's like a mechanical zombie guy. And so one of the ideas I had was to sort of copy CryptoPunks and have a zombie. I need to blow my nose. But is that, we can do better than just copying CryptoPunks. So rather than zombie, I thought, so a broader concept of chaos, and within that you can have all kinds of interesting things. But it's kind of like the bad guys a bit, but more like if you've seen the new Joker movie, which was really awesome because it showed the Joker in a kind of a more political light of, you know, rather than just being the bad guy, he was forced to be that in a fucked up world kind of thing. So it was more like deeply philosophical, whereas if you're in a fucked up world, it's like almost like you need the Joker to, anyway, I don't want to go too deep onto that. So I thought it was an interesting idea. Order, chaos. And then fire was I'll read it out. Fire, Decentralions exist in a state of pure emotion. From the pits of despair to the heights of ecstasy, fires experience the breadth and depth of all experience without resistance. And so I thought this is a concept where this is a Decentralion that was about being, you know, like being in the moment. It was sort of an in the moment kind of thing. And maybe we can change fire to something else, to presence or, and so I thought it was an interesting concept that this Decentralion represents somebody who was in the moment, experiencing now the pain, the pleasure, the ups, the downs, the emotion. They're not in their mind. They're not in the future, in the past. They're right here. It's sort of I suppose I'm trying to create archetypes in a sense, and I've got here flow. Oh, and the fire would be orange, maybe. Flow, I've got the color would be silver. And I've got here, flow Decentralions are liquid metal bodies that can shapeshift at will, making flows able to easily adjust to the never-ending changes of life. And so I thought flow would be, visually, you can imagine it would be kind of like liquid metal or whatever, or something like that. But it represents being, you know how I was saying how like you if the chart isn't doing what you're expecting, you can throw it out without restraint, just changing, constantly adjusting to life, not hanging on to the past. I thought that was kind of a fun idea with the liquid metal, the flowing. And then even rarer, I've got here, the color would be gold. And maybe it's like your character is made of light, something like that. And it says, light Decentralions are fully realized beings who remain in this reality to guide all other living creatures towards enlightenment. It's almost like a Buddha character. And then finally, I've got spirit, color blue, ascended energy bodies, unbounded from the physical and temporal dimensions of our material reality. Now, I don't know if this is getting a bit too heavy and philosophical and stuff. Maybe this is not the route to take. Maybe let's just like lighten it up and have some fun with it. And rather than order and chaos and fire, let's have zombies and aliens and stuff. So I'm open to ideas. To see what you guys think. But again, it's still cool to not have this 100% worked out. Again, as long as like you can see the direction this is going in, and you can see that I'm open to hearing what you guys think, and you have faith that ultimately I will make the right decisions with you guys, and we will produce something really fucking cool. Then you know this is not something that we should rush. We should make something really, really good. And then the attributes, these are all just filler. I haven't spent any time on these whatsoever, but you can just imagine, just like we've got with the, I showed you the CryptoPunks down here with all these attributes. You know, we would look to these for inspiration. We would look to all the other NFT projects for inspiration, and we would look to our to AI to help us with inspiration. Because if we look at if we look at the all it's produced, we might have ideas of like, oh, this like metal sort of head with the sort of television looking eyes. That's so cool. I was like, this is my favorite guy, I think. You know, like ideas that like with cool looking headphones and stuff. So the AI is going to be producing loads of ideas. So yeah, that's it. I mean, it's God, it's like 11. I started at 8, 9, 10. God, 3 hours. How did that happen? Jesus Christ. So I'm going to wrap it up now. Are there any thoughts about what I've shown you here with the Decentralions? I'm going to do an FAQ. There's obviously nothing there right now. But any thoughts? This is going to launch on Sunday. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to email you guys, and I'll also let you know inside, obviously, the network community. But what we'll do, I think this is the best way to do it, is we will just say, right, we're going live at this time. And literally at that time, that's when like the button will appear. But before then, I'm going to make this page live for you guys, and I'm going to have a button where there'll be like a waiting list where, so that the button to order won't be on this page. It will be on the page that only people who are on the waiting list will see. So I'm going to go live. I want to go live with that. If I can get this done tomorrow with the waiting list button, that'll be cool. Even though I'm still kind of working on it, if I can do the waiting list button tomorrow, I think, yeah, that'll be really cool. Because I'm also live streaming tomorrow, but I'm not live streaming on Friday and Saturday. So that would make sense. So any questions, guys? Pop in the chat and let me know what you think. I'll have a bit of a drink, and then we'll wrap up for the day. But I appreciate your feedback today. That was really strong, really great feedback. Some great brainstorming there. You're welcome, Marcus. Shirley, I like what you have gone through. The descriptions are good. Oh, you mean the types? These different types: order, chaos, fire, flow, light, spirit. Open to ideas. But you think they're cool? Do. Oh yes, the types. Okay. I mean, if I lead with this, Marcus's spirit should be silver. Spirit should be silver. Yeah, but then silver is then rarer than gold. And gold as a symbol, whenever you see the statues of like Buddha, and gold is a symbol of like purity, and sort of spiritual purity. So if this one was meant to be like an enlightened being, kind of like, you know, it would make sense that gold is for that. Now, I'm not sure if, but I just blow my nose, sorry. I don't know if we call it light. But then if we chose silver for spirit, then silver would be sort of rarer than gold, which doesn't feel right. And silver, because this, when I first had this idea, this was Mercury. Because Mercury, what's the name for Mercury? Like another name for Mercury is Quicksilver. And that's actually what inspired King Silver, by the way. And that's why I put silver for here, but also because it's just before gold. But again, I'm open to ideas. Shirley says I'm on YouTube and it seems to have a big delay to live. Oh, maybe it's the Wi-Fi connection I'm on. But you mean on Twitch it's not as delayed? Yeah, I don't know. Again, you're the engineers, not me. Marcus says any colour other than blue than for spirit. Yeah, maybe. I think it's because I like blue as a colour. I think that's all it is. In fact, my favourite colour is blue. So all that you're seeing is my projection of, I think the rarest colour should be blue, which obviously shouldn't be the case. Like blue would make sense for flow, because like water, you know. So like, yeah, I'm not saying this is what we're doing. I'm totally open. I love the idea that we're co-creating this together. Marcus says, you don't like blue. See, isn't this funny? Like, it's hard for me to imagine not liking blue. These attributes and their rarity is cool, but I'm thinking if we are overthinking this and making it too complicated, since the main benefit of a Decentraland NFT is its fee discount. I agree with you, but I think it's just the cool factor. And it's not overly complicated. Like, all this doesn't ultimately matter. This is the collectible side of it, right? This is just the fact that there will be because look, why are aliens, look at these are the cheapest prices, 7,000 Ethereum down to 63, cheapest? Yeah, so 7,000 Ethereum down to 63 Ethereum. Why? These don't do anything. It's just the collectability of them. It's the fact that they're rarer. So you are right. But I think since we have the opportunity here to create our own NFT collection that has this amazing utility, why not make it cool? Why not make it really fucking cool and really, really collectible? The more collectible it is, the more money you guys will be able to make minting them, because as well as people wanting Decentralions to use in the ecosystem, there's going to be a bunch of collectors as well that actually want them for their collectability. So since we're doing it, why not go all the way and make something just really fucking cool, you know? Marcus, you're a red man. Yeah, I think my brother's a red man as well. I can't imagine being a red man. I'm a blue man. Like, I'm a blue man. You're a red man. But you are right, Masters Day, that we shouldn't overcomplicate it. Shouldn't go too crazy. So this really, all this is doing is copying the complexity of CryptoPunks, where they've got 5 types, but I chose 6 purely because it fits on a page better. 6 types, and then, you know, we'll have a bunch of attributes. That's it. That's all it is. And all this is just like the fun story. It's like the narrative. Yeah, that's all it is. It doesn't mean anything. Like, really, it's just the fact that these are going to be rarer than these, and they'll look different, right? And so there's just the cool factor. But these aren't as important as what we've been discussing up here. This is the meat, right? The dynamics that we've been talking about. This is what's important. So maybe that's what you're referring to. So I haven't lost sight of that. This is what's important. But as I'm scrolling down, I'm showing you that this is the cool factor that makes some Decentralions more collectible than others. And I think it's going to be, in the ecosystem that we're in, there are a lot of people who value this stuff, and I value it. I think it's cool, you know. And the cool factor, it just has a big part to play. So I'm going to wrap it up there. So thanks for being here, guys. I'll be back tomorrow at the same time, and I think I'm going to send out an email tomorrow about this, but I'm going to try and have this page live for you guys tomorrow so you can sign up to the waiting list. Because only people on the waiting list are going to be able to, you know, jump on this when it goes live on Sunday. But I hope you guys are excited about it. I'm excited about this. And I'll be back tomorrow at the same time, and I'll update you guys with, my progress tomorrow. All right. So I want to see at least 3 emojis in. Actually, let me bring back the chat now. I want to see 3 emojis telling me how you feel about the Decentralions before we leave, because there's some of you on messaging me, writing messages on Twitch, and some writing. In fact, I'll come back to the camera. There we go. So I've got, you can see there's some on YouTube and Twitch. Master Day said, "What is that? Oh, it's a Velociraptor. Was it a Velociraptor?" Marcus, big smiley face. Master Day says Twitch does not have normal emojis. Oh, right, I gotcha. Nice one. All right, this has been the longest stream yet. I've been doing this for, doesn't say on my screen, but I mean, I started at 8 o'clock, so that means I've been doing it for 3 hours and 20 minutes. Oh man. All right, wicked. Let's wrap it up. So cheers for being here. Appreciate you. And if I don't speak to you in the network, I will see you the same time tomorrow. Good night, guys.